I always say we're basically working with bombs all day that could go off at any moment. They can kill you if you make a mistake. It's a very dangerous career field. They're killing machines.
Right.
Like that's literally what they do. You guys have heard of Tiger King. You know what? I do that stuff with my kids and my husband.
Yeah.
So,
get the little clicker thing. Like
yes, clicker train your kids.
Yeah,
it works. I tell you what.
Shanna Simpson, thanks for coming on Topeka Insider.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good. So you're the animal curator at the Topeka Zoo.
Correct. That's my job title.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a cool job.
Animal curator. What does that even mean?
I didn't know what that word meant until I started working in the animal care industry. But
industry.
Yes, the career field. You hear it a lot in museums, like museum curator. Like I feel like that's where I used to hear it from before I was an adult. So basically it just means that you're in charge of, I think, is the way I define it as. So I'm over the animal care department at the Topeka Zoo.
So if you're a curator, it kind of sounds like you get to pick what animals you have.
I mean, kind of. There's a committee that decides that. I don't just get to be like, oh, my favorite animals in the world are hippo. We're going to get 15.
Right.
So we don't
if
do
you
that.
find a good deal on a parrot on Craigslist, you'd be like, yeah, we're getting this.
Oh yeah, that's not shady at all. No, yes and no. I mean, we do have a committee. I mean, we can make suggestions, but we have a whole committee that makes those decisions. So,
nice.
We got to make sure it's ethical.
Right.
Not getting animals on Craigslist.
How many animals does the Topeka Zoo have?
So we have about 380-ish animals, give or take. Now, once you start counting each individual, then it gets a lot more because we have a whole invertebrate zoo, like a bug zoo is what we call it. So we've got cockroaches and stick insects. And so if you start counting all of those, it gets a little crazy. Right. So we count those as a colony, basically. So around 300, 350
so like the
370.
Collection of bugs is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Because then it could be a little crazy. We'd have a lot of animals.
A million.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of animals, and we have about 25 zookeepers that oversee all of those different animals, and then 2 animal care supervisors, and then 2 animal curators.
Wow.
That's the
Are your
animal department.
Zookeepers broken down into different departments, like so-and-so?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've got, because there are animals that are very specific, specified, like Joe Schmo can't just come work with an elephant, right?
Right.
So you have to have specialized, you have to be trained a certain manner. Same thing with our big cats, with our great apes. They're dangerous, they're very specialized care. So you do have to have a level of training with that. So you can't just pop in and just, feed an elephant. Yeah. But so we do that. We have specialized keepers that work with certain animals. And then we have what we call relief keepers. And those keepers go everywhere and fill in for vacations and days off. And so those are really versatile keepers. They're really important too. So that's basically how we run it. It's pretty easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So give us your backstory. How did you get into working at a zoo?
It's random,
How did you get here?
Yeah. Okay. So I was raised in Roswell, New Mexico. That's where I was born and raised. And we went on a family vacation to SeaWorld, San Antonio, when I was in 2nd grade. And I saw the girl, flying off of Shamu's face. And I was like, I have to do that.
Yeah.
That is what I have to do. Totally. I mean, and that's like everybody's story who's been to SeaWorld when they're little, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I never got out of that, and being from New Mexico, obviously I had to relocate. So I got my degree in psychology and zoology, which I know people are like, psychology, but you actually deal with a lot of training and classical conditioning with animals.
Wow. Yeah.
So that degree has been, clutch when working with animals.
Really?
Wow. Weird, right? So training, conditioning,
like
behavior,
positive, negative feedback,
and reinforcement, all that. This is the same stuff you do in Psych 101.
Right.
So
maybe you can teach me some tricks for my kids.
You know what? I do that stuff with my kids and my husband.
Yeah.
So,
get the little clicker thing. Like
yes. Clicker train your kids.
Yeah,
it works. I tell you what. The jokes are endless with that. But anyway, then as soon as I graduated college, I got a job at an aquarium in Miami, Florida, where I worked with killer whales and dolphins for 8 years.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was a killer whale trainer.
It's like every kid's dream.
Isn't it?
It's so amazing.
It was so cool. It was obviously just incredible. Like I loved it. And I met my husband out there, and we had our first daughter out there, and then we got transferred to Topeka, and he's in the Coast Guard. And so there's a Coast Guard base here, which nobody knows about apparently.
Because there's no coast.
Transferred. There's no coast.
There's no coast?
What is he guarding? I don't know. I don't know what he does all day.
Which coast is he guarding exactly?
Lake Shawnee. Lake Shawnee is very dangerous.
There's an imminent threat coming from Lake Shawnee.
You never know with Lake Shawnee. It seems shady, doesn't it? But anyway, so we moved here and I got the job at the zoo pretty shortly after and been here ever since.
So I would imagine a place like Topeka, and I don't want to shortchange Topeka Zoo because actually Topeka Zoo I think is like an incredible. It is. Like, people come to Topeka, they're shocked how amazing our zoo is.
I agree. Yeah.
And we love the zoo. Our kids love the zoo.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I got to imagine like someone coming from like that high end kind of a place, they had to have been like amazed. Oh my gosh, how did we get someone like here?
It's a totally different world. I mean, it's so different, but yet it's so similar. Working with dolphins and killer whales to working with land animals. I always say that I'm dry now. Like I was wet all day then. You're in the water constantly.
Right.
So that is the main difference. I mean, the animals are pretty much the same. You have to train them the same way. You interact with them. The safety is the same. So it's pretty similar. But coming here, I really thought that I wasn't going to work. We had our daughter, she was really young. And so I was like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom while we're in Topeka and just hang out with my daughter. And then maybe when we move to the coast again, maybe I'll be a dolphin trainer someday again. But then one of my friends called me and was like, hey, the zoo down there is hiring. And I was like, seriously, what? Like, should I apply? So I took my daughter to the zoo like all the time. We were members. And I never really saw myself working at a zoo. I was a dolphin trainer. Like I worked with killer whales. That's what I did.
Person.
Yeah, it was water. I can't see myself at the zoo. So I was like, I'm just going to apply, just see what happens. And that was 14 years ago. I got the job.
Wow.
And I love it.
Have you been now at a zoo longer than you were? Okay. So you're officially a zoo person
I'm officially a zoo person. Officially. Yeah. I don't think I would remember how to swim if I had to.
Yeah.
So you talk a little bit about safety protocols, different things that you have to do with the zookeepers, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Priority. What are some of those look like? And then follow-up question, what are some of the more dangerous exhibits for zookeepers?
Absolutely. So, I mean, safety obviously that's a good question. Safety is a top priority. I mean, it has to be because I always say we're basically working with bombs all day that could go off at any moment. They're unpredictable. They can kill you if you make a mistake. So it's a very dangerous career. It is. If you look at the statistics, a lot of injuries, a lot of deaths.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And coming from a marine mammal background, those animals don't follow you. They stay in the water. So there's not really like a level of security. I mean, obviously you have to be careful when you're in the water. There's safety protocols when you're in with them.
Right.
That's a whole other ballgame. But, you don't have to worry about locks and shutting gates and, containment, right? Because they're in water. They're not going to hop out on the land and follow you down the stairs.
Yeah.
So with the zoo,
I don't know, in Finding Nemo, they did.
That sounds terrifying, doesn't it? They get the big bags.
In Finding Dory, they escape.
That's true. Well, I think your job then is to not provide any large plastic bags.
Right.
For the dolphins.
Yeah. All plastic bags banned from the premises.
You cannot have them because you might escape. We actually had an incident at our zoo in 2019 where a keeper just made a mistake, found herself inside with a tiger, and got beat up pretty bad by the tiger. She did not die, thank God. It was. We got very, very lucky. So in 2019, we changed all of our safety protocol. So at that point, we went to what we call 2 key 2 lock system. So basically, it means there's like a blue lock on one of the doors and a green lock on that same door. And so you have to have 2 people to open that door. So anytime you want to open a barrier between you and a dangerous animal, you have to have another person.
So a certain level of animal, not every animal is like that? Not
every animal, no. Just the ones that can kill you. So tiger, lion, African painted dog, cougar, bear, orangutan. Those are where we do the 2 key 2 lock. So,
one person has one lock, one person another.
Correct.
Wow.
And so you can't even if I wanted to open up a door, I can't open a door without my coworker. So
you can't just be like, I'm just going to pop in.
I'm just going to go in real quick, because that's what happened with our incident. She was like, I'm going to go in here and clean this yard real quick. Well, she had forgotten that she hadn't secured the tiger inside and he was out there. And so she walked in with him. And so it's just human error. You have to find ways, just like in, airline industry, surgeons, you have to find ways to lower risk and do risk mitigation.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like if you're around that every day, you can maybe take for granted.
Oh yeah.
So you get used to it.
You get your routine and you're just opening doors and you're just,
And as a person who attends a zoo, it's easy for me to think Well, they're in captivity. They're probably all tame.
Yeah, heck no. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. So.
What's one of those sneaky animals that are more dangerous than maybe we give them credit for?
Well, up until about 10 years ago, elephants killed more keepers than any other animal.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. Isn't that kind of shocking?
Wow.
And I mean, and it's not necessarily because elephants are super aggressive. They're not like, I'm going to kill you. It's not like that. I mean, some of them are, don't get me wrong. But it's most of the time just accidents, an elephant backing up on a keeper, an elephant, a person getting pinned or stepped on.
Right.
But about 10 years ago, the switch kind of started to happen where big cats started to be the winners of that, killing more keepers than the other animals.
Was that because people were getting more on top of like being careful around elephants?
I think so. I think a lot of safety protocols went into effect from our governing bodies and stuff like that. A lot of rules came down because there was about 1 or 2 keepers killed a year by elephants for a while there. Yeah, it was crazy.
That is crazy.
So now big cats, or the tigers actually are the winner right now for killing more keepers. And I think it's just mistakes, human mistakes, just like our mistake here.
Right.
So
is the person okay? Like, do they have any permanent injuries?
Yeah, she is okay. She survived, but she does have some pretty substantial permanent injuries from it. So yeah, I mean, they're killing machines.
Right.
Like that's literally what they do.
They seem like they would be. I mean, there's a lot of dangerous animals in the world, but they would definitely be like top 5 animal I would not want to come across in the wild.
I think that's wise. Yeah, because they're secretive. You mean, you don't hear them. You don't know they're there.
Yeah.
Until they're already like on you. You have zero chance.
I've seen The Jungle Book. I know what to expect.
Yeah. He's crazy. What's his name? What is his name?
What is his name in
Jungle
Jungle
Book? Bad tiger. He's so scary.
It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
Me too. It'll come to us in a minute. Watch.
Some kid will watch this and
I know what it is.
Is that something where you blame the tiger, or is it like
absolutely not?
Okay.
Nope. Tiger actually the tiger did not even do what he was supposed to do. Like he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
Usually tigers go in for the kill shot and he didn't. He more like played with her. He was kind of like, what are you doing in here? Like this is weird. Like if because we had a lot of witnesses obviously and his behavior.
Oh, it was during normals.
We were open.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like kids who like.
Well, I mean, they ushered them away, but we had the public was there and.
Oh my god.
It was horrible. It was probably top 5 worst day of my life.
Wow.
So
you were there.
Terrible. Well, I was actually at my daughter's softball game in Atchison, Kansas.
Okay,
and I got the call. And so I drove back, obviously, 90 million miles per hour on the highway. And so I had to deal with all the aftermath. Yeah, I was like, bye. Can you guys take your Uber? Gotta go.
Uber.
So, right. No, you'll be fine. So I had to come back and deal with the aftermath of it. So it was it was horrible. But we got really lucky, like really. Because most of the time, whenever keepers find themselves in with a tiger, it's a fatality.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, safety, top priority.
That's
top,
wild.
For real.
That is wild.
So when it comes to the Topeka Zoo, because I've probably been to 2 or 3 zoos in my entire life.
Yeah.
I don't have much to compare it to. Right. Where is Topeka excelling and compared to other zoos? Where is it like maybe falling short?
Okay, that's a great question. I mean, I think what we're kind of known for maybe in the industry, maybe stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're known for our tiger. Ironically, we're known for our tiger program. We have a very successful breeding program. We had a litter of cubs in 2014, a litter of cubs in 2018. We have a breeding pair right now. That's actually what I was doing all morning.
Is that rare?
Tiger breeding is very hard. It's very hard. It's hard because they're solitary in the wild, so they live alone. So they only come together when the female's in heat. Yeah. And if they come together when the female's not in heat. So
families won't stick together like lions will?
No, absolutely no. Wow. So lions are actually the only social cat. So every cat in the world is solitary except for lions. So your bobcat, jaguars, leopards, tigers, those are all solitary except for lions. So lions are the only family cat.
I'm proud of you for knowing that.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, I didn't know they were the only ones. I thought that was more normal.
The only feline. Wow. So tigers are just really tricky because if they come together and she's not in heat, it could be fatal. It could be very aggressive. They're very territorial. They don't like being around other cats. So you have to be able to read the female's behavior. You have to be able to call that she's in heat.
Wow.
You have to be able to make sure he knows she's in heat, and so there's a lot of behavior reading. So it's really tricky.
Make sure he's well fed beforehand.
Yes,
and
making sure
hungry.
he's not in the slightest hangry.
Yeah.
So it's really tricky. So we're known for our tiger breeding. We actually have people come down here to watch us work with tigers and part of our program. I have flown out to a few different zoos to help them with their tiger program. So we're definitely known for our tiger tiger program.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It crossed the industry.
So what happens when you have a litter? Like what do you guys do with the?
Well, the male can't be anywhere around. The female has to be feel completely safe, because if she doesn't feel safe, she'll kill the cubs, because the cubs could be a liability, right, for her survival. Animals are savage. So you have to make sure the female feels safe. So we have to make sure that the male is as far away as possible. So we usually just put him outside for a week or so he's away from her. Make sure she's well fed and can nurse. Make sure she's nursing. Make sure the cubs are, moving. Make sure that they're gaining weight. So a lot of stuff goes into it. So.
Is that what would happen in the wild? I feel like we could go down a very interesting, quirky rabbit hole about tiger breeding here, but which is funny, by the way. Just like, what'd you do this morning? I bred some tigers.
That's what I did all morning.
I just set up some mood lighting and some
Barry Manilow.
Yeah, exactly. some jazz. But in the wild, would that be normal? Like after the encounter, the guy's just kind of off. And so, she would feel safe because she's by herself in the wild.
And she would make sure that her cubs were somewhere safe. Like she would go den down somewhere. The tiger gestation is 3 months, so they're pregnant for 3 months.
Oh.
So around when she's about to give birth, she goes and she finds a den or a cave or something real secretive. So we just make sure she has something like that. Here we build like a box, like a den box, and we put a camera in it so we can see her. And
do you guys live stream that?
We did. The last litter, you can go on YouTube and you can watch our litter be born. We had 4 cubs.
That's awesome. Yeah. What do you guys do with the cubs?
Craigslist.
We already established that,
We had this guy in Russia. An oligarch wanted them.
It was just poked holes in the box and shipped it straight to overnight shipping.
Madagascar. We made Madagascar 4 with that.
But no, we do keep the cubs with the mom. In the wild, the cubs would be with the mom for about 2 years. She's got to teach them how to be a tiger, right? Teach them how to hunt, teach them how to stalk, stuff like that. So they stay with they stay with the mom for about 2 years, and then they go to other zoos as they become adults.
Cool.
So we have tigers all over the world. Because we had 3.
From here. Wow.
We had 3 in 2014 and 4 in 2018. So, and there's only about, I think, 68 Sumatran tigers in American zoos. And so we have bred over 10% of those tigers here at the Topeka Zoo, just to put in perspective.
That is cool.
Yeah. So we're very important to the tiger population.
Where did we get ours?
Well, the mother that had the 2 litters, she was from Sacramento Zoo. That's where she was born. The first the first baby daddy, was from Akron Zoo. I think he was born at. The second baby daddy, because you don't want too many of the same litter, like the same genetics, right? Okay. So we had a different dad. We switched dads. And he was from Zoo Atlanta, and they had the 4. And then the mom is actually at Louisville now, and she just had another cub at Louisville because she's a proven breeder. So they gave her to a zoo who didn't have as much experience with tiger breeding. And they gave us a lovely couple who's virgins who have never bred. So we've been trying to get them to breed for the past year. So it's been a little bit challenging with this girl. The female is from Jacksonville Zoo and the male is from San Diego Zoo.
Wow. Gotcha. So it sounds like, do any of the animals in like American zoos ever come from the wild?
Not really, not anymore. Now the North American animals, that's where it gets a little bit different. You don't breed, they're here. Well, and like black bears are not endangered. Mountain lions are not endangered. So you don't breed them in zoos. Like reputable zoos don't breed those animals.
Right. Because you don't need to. You don't need the population
exactly. So there's no need to, but there's a lot of need for homes for orphans. So like our black bear is rescued from Alaska. Our mountain lion was rescued from Washington State. So North American animals are most likely rescues.
Wow.
So there are some animals for the wild, but it's not like we go collect them anymore. Okay. So that's...
what are some of the most endangered animals that people maybe don't realize or don't know? I mean, I guess you said black bears aren't endangered.
No
idea.
They're threatened, but not endangered. So it's just kind of like keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
The most endangered animal in North America is the wolverine. Number 2 most endangered North American animal is the black-footed ferret. And black-footed ferret is really cool because they're native to Kansas. They're native to Kansas and Wyoming and kind of up down the middle of the state, of the country. And we actually, our education director at the Topeka Zoo, he runs the whole black-footed ferret conservation program for all of Kansas. Wow. So Topeka Zoo has a real involvement in black-footed ferret conservation.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, we actually have one at the zoo.
I'm trying to picture what a wolverine even looks like, to be
man,
honest.
they're so cool. They're aggressive and they're cool. And they look nothing like the X-Men character, by the way.
Like Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
No, Hugh Jackman does not do the Wolverine justice.
That's funny.
So yeah, those are the top 2 North American ones. As far as our zoo goes, we do have a black-footed ferret. That's probably our most endangered animal at the zoo.
Wow.
Sumatran tiger. There's about 500 left in the wild.
Wow.
Elephants, African elephants get to be really, really dire over there for elephants. I mean, the list goes on. We have a bird called a bali myna in our rainforest, one of the most endangered birds in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
They're beautiful. They're all white and they have like a bright blue like Zorro mask over their eye. Like, they're beautiful birds. So
wow.
Yeah, orangutans. We have orangutans. They're very endangered. The list goes on.
Right. So I knew zoos. Well, I guess one preliminary question is, how do you determine if something's endangered? Is it just a hard number? There's less than this number in the wild?
Well, I mean, there's all sorts of different organizations that track that stuff. I mean, there's Wildlife SOS, there's IUCN, and there's all sorts of conservation organizations that track all this stuff. And they report to zoos. They report to accredited. So we're accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, or AZA. So they report to AZA, and AZA trickles all that information down. It's this whole big world out there that nobody even knows exists. Yeah. Zoos are have a lot more depth than people realize.
Yeah. That was kind of my second question, is like, you see, in some of the educational posters and plaques, like around the zoo, things about conservation.
Yeah.
And when I hear conservation, I'm always thinking like land, like plants,
water,
trees, water. But it makes sense when zoos talk about conservation, are they mainly talking about repopulating animal populations that are endangered? Is that mainly how they?
But I mean, if you think about it, it's all intertwined.
Right.
Water, land, the animals that live in those spaces. Like it's all part of this intricate habitat. That all those parties need to be there for it to be successful. Like if the sharks were all taken out of the ocean would completely be decimated. Right. So it's just like every single habitat has these keystone elements to it. And the zoo's main job is to make sure we're educating people on that. Like what can you do to help black-footed ferrets? What can people here in Topeka do to help African elephants?
Right.
So kind of stuff like that, because at the end of the day, that's what's really important, is making sure that the animals in the wild that we're doing what we can so they don't go extinct. So
wow,
it's a big job.
So can you jump on that just a little more? Because sometimes you hear people are like, man, I don't know if I can support something that's like, capturing these animals that should be in the wild, and feel like there's kind of this feeling of like, so like, but that's not really like
it's not
what's
happening anymore. No, I mean, do zoos and aquariums have a dark past? Absolutely. Like, we had to get our animals from somewhere. They used to capture them. Like, that's not something that we're proud of, but it's something we have to talk about. That's how the zoos started, as like private menageries of rich people, right? And then they kind of moved over to a city kind of thing. Like, if you look at the history of zoos, but now, there's a lot more thought, conservation, and ethics, and all this stuff that go into it. And I mean, I will say, of course, just like with anything, there's always bad zoos. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of Tiger King, that was that big thing in 2020.
Right.
There are bad zoos out there. So just, making sure that you're supporting zoos whose main, goal is conservation, and who's not just breeding willy-nilly. Like, if we could have kept our last pair of tigers and just bred every 3 months, bred and made babies, because babies are money, right? People come and see babies, so we could have just bred.
It's so true. People want to see.
So that's the kind of stuff you're looking for when you're looking to see if the zoo is a good zoo, and if you want to go spend your money there. So that's what I encourage people to do. Check their website, talk to people, ask people, do they always have cubs? Do they always have baby bears? Do they always have baby orangutans? That's a red flag, major red flag. Baby factory. Yeah. And then where do those babies go once they get too big and dangerous? Wow. They go to canned hunts. They get, euthanized. They go to
for real?
Absolutely. There's a whole big dark side of, and that goes back to Tiger King. And that they just kept breeding, and they would euthanize the cats, or they would sell them to private owners. They would sell them to people that didn't have any business having a big cat.
Actually, I don't know. I was like the only person in my friend group who got through 2020 without seeing
I didn't watch it either. I refused.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be an abomination to my career field.
Right. Well, yeah, you have more invested interest.
I know.
My wife went down the rabbit. She's like, this is crazy.
It is crazy. Well, I had already know about him. I already knew.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
That makes sense, actually.
We all knew who he was. Like
Wow.
his name was Joe Exotic. Like it was Joe Exotic Zoo. Like you could see his billboard on the interstate.
Yeah.
You know, and we were going down to Dallas one time with my family, and I was like, what the heck is that? And so I researched him, and this was way before Tiger King. And then it turns out a lot of zoos know about him, and
he's like on a big black list on everyone's zoo.
Crazy. He's just noticed that he makes us look bad. I mean, unfortunately we get lumped into people like that.
Right.
And it's just like anything, you know, it's just like if you go to like a hospital, you know, there's some bad hospitals. There's some bad grocery stores. Like some grocery stores you just don't go to. So it's like, so there are bad zoos. There are good zoos, bad zoos.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show is we love Topeka.
Yeah.
But what we also want to be upfront about is, you know, if you love something, it's also not being naive to its faults.
Absolutely.
So walk us through where the Topeka Zoo is failing.
Okay.
You know, what's compared to other zoos around the nation, the country? Where do you think the Topeka Zoo could be better?
Golly, that's a really great question. I mean, I think making sure our animal care is just continuing to improve.
Yeah.
Because things change all the time in this field. If you look back at the last 25 years, I mean, just in the last 25 years I've been in this career field, it's changed so much. So just making sure we're staying on the forefront of animal care. You know, I think there's a few of our habitats that need updated. You know, they're outdated and they're old, but that is part of our master plan. So I am proud to say, but you know, it takes money, it takes time. So like there are some things that we're well aware. Like, I mean, we can go, I know I keep going back to tigers, but our tiger exhibit, it works. And we had a lot of success with it, but it's not great. Like it's, if you go to a lot of other tiger exhibits, it's not great. Like it's pretty low on the list of being a great tiger exhibit. So, but we make it work and we do what we can.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I think
variety of animals is good. Quantity is good.
I think so. Yeah.
You would know. Honestly, I mean, it's been a while since I've been to a zoo.
I'm trying to think what I would change. I mean, if I had like some billionaire that came out of the roadworks and was what would you change? Gosh, that's such a great question. I mean, I would make everything bigger. You know, I would love to make everything bigger. That's what everybody always tells you. Everybody needs more space. I need more space.
Right.
But I think for the size of city that we're in, and I mean, the fact that we have elephants, like, is huge.
Is it really?
And I don't think the people, literally huge. That's funny. I don't think people realize that, like the animals that we have for our size of city. Like if you go to like Sunset Zoo in Manhattan, or if you go to like Dickerson Park Zoo in Springfield, you know, kind of the similar size zoos, our animals are, I mean, the fact that we have orangutans, elephants, hippo, giraffe, big cats. Like we have the big, amazing, you know, sexy animals that everybody wants to see at the zoo. So that's my favorite thing about this zoo is our animals. Like it's very unique to have a zoo our size, to have those mega,
that's good to know.
Fauna. Yeah.
I mean, I agree too. Like when we first moved to Topeka, we had no idea. That we're like, because I had lived in Manhattan at one point too. Yeah. And Sunset Zoo is like, this is what I expected.
Yeah,
you know, in a small town. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of what I was expecting in Topeka. I was like, oh dang, they have like actual animals.
Yeah,
like this is great.
A lot of the big sexy animals people want to see.
Yeah, it's amazing. I got to visit Africa this summer, and my son, who's 5, was like, oh, are you gonna see, you know, lions and, you know, giraffes? And I went to Angola, where they really don't have much of that.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, they don't have that. And he's like, oh, well, maybe next time we can go to real Africa.
Amazing.
I was like, yep, I can see why you would say that.
How dare you go to fake Africa?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, in your mind, that is real Africa. Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is cute.
That's awesome. So what would you say, like you've been in Topeka now 15 years or so?
15 years,
What's it been like transplanting from, you were in New Mexico, Florida. Now you're in Topeka. Gotta be pretty different.
It's totally different, but we absolutely fell in love with Topeka. Like fell in love with it. You know, and I always joke around that I thought I would live next to a beach because I married a Coast Guard guy. Yeah. But like I am so thankful we moved to Topeka. Like we moved to Topeka from Miami. And the second we got here, it's funny. My family met us here, to help us move and stuff. And we were like, well, let's go to dinner tonight. Let's go to, I don't know, Chili's. There was something on Wanamaker, some basic, family restaurant. And we were like, okay, like we'll meet there around 6. And so I told my husband, I was like, we need to go there around 5. To put our name down. Yeah. Yes, traffic and to put our name down because that's what you do in Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get there at 5 and it's like, they're like, party of 8? Yeah, right this way. And we were like, wait, what?
What?
We don't need this table till 6, but
I was downloading Netflix episodes for the wait.
Exactly. So like, the lack of traffic, like it's so spread out and the people are so nice. Like, I mean, in Miami, you get flipped off on the road. It's a daily occurrence. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people are rude. They, the door slams on you. They don't hold the door for you. Right. So like we were kind of used to that kind of world out there and coming here, it was like, oh my word. Like these people are so nice. Like everybody's so polite. And and we chose to stay here. My husband got transferred again. We were going to go to Alaska and he was like, we don't want to leave Topeka. We have both our daughters here, and it's like, we want to raise our family here.
I'm going to rephrase. You said you had the opportunity to go live in Alaska.
We did.
And we chose Topeka.
We did.
Come on. We're in Alaska.
Where
in Alaska were you going to go?
Yeah.
We were going to get transferred to Cordova, which is it's a small town. You can't drive to it. I guess you can only fly or boat to it. Very remote. And so my husband was going to be on a boat, for like 4 months or something, a year, 4 months and then back for a month, 4 months. And and my kids were little and we were like, I don't want to do that.
Right,
I don't want to be, Alaska's tempting for sure. Right. But I had my job here at the zoo and I was like, I love my job. I love my job. And we have friends here and we have a church here and we have, no traffic. People are nice and
no wait at Chili's.
No wait at Chili's. You can't get any better than that. So we just made the difficult decision for him to get out of active duty and he got a job done at the Federal Building working with the Coast Guard, which is cool. He's basically doing the same job.
Right.
We wanted to raise our family here.
Yeah,
we fell in love with it.
Wow.
So, and we're still here. My daughter's in college and we're still here.
Wow. So even though there's nothing to do
That's
here.
such garbage. I hate when people say that.
Why?
Because there's nothing to do here if you're lame.
Come on, let's go.
That's
exactly how I feel about it.
Seriously, there is so much to do
annoying.
here. It is.
Yeah.
If you get off your butt and you go explore and you look online or you just go do something, you will find something to do.
Yeah.
And that's what me and my husband did when we got here. We immediately started exploring. There's, lakes and there's festivals and there's, just a short drive, Manhattan. There's Lawrence. There's, I remember where we moved here in late July. We went to cider days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cider days is sweet.
This is the funnest thing ever because we never got fall festivals in Miami. There's no fall. It's stupid hot still.
Yeah.
And so we were like, this is amazing. We have cider
humid days in Florida.
That's all we have is humidity. We had cider days and then they had the Christmas parade, the little electrical light parade downtown. We were like, this is the cutest city.
I know.
So, we always, even to this day, every weekend, we just go find stuff to do.
Right.
So you're the problem, not Topeka.
Speaking of Christmas.
Yeah.
Topeka Zoo has quickly become known for their zoo lights. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness, zoo lights has been phenomenal. We had been debating doing some kind of zoo lights since 2015, I think. And so it finally came to fruition, of course, 2020. Yeah. We were supposed to open it.
Really? That was the first year?
Yep. And we were COVID hit. We were like, what do we do? Right? And so, but we ended up continuing with it. And we did you sign up for certain times. And
I remember that.
I
didn't realize that was the first year.
That was our first year.
Yep.
Wow, so I was at the first year. That's amazing.
You were at the first year ever.
Yeah, I remember signing up for a slot. I just thought that's the way it always was.
No, that was our first year ever.
Wow, yeah, I assume because we had just moved to Topeka 6 months before that, before COVID. And so we're like, oh, zoo lights, they must have been doing this for years. This is great.
No.
So we signed up for a time slot.
Yeah, that was the first year we'd ever done it. So it was obviously a little bit of a risk. And it saved us, zoo lights. Because, we were closed for 2 or 3 months because of COVID. And so having zoo lights really saved our budget, saved everything that year.
What an awesome idea.
Oh, man, right?
That is such a hit.
Yeah. And every year it gets better and better. We have we have a whole zoo lights department now.
Really?
Who works year round. Wow. Yeah, we have a zoo lights manager. He's on staff year round.
Wow.
And so we have Adam is our zoo light staff. He's amazing. And he has 2 or 3 people part of his department, and he does zoo lights year round, which that's how big it is now.
That's incredible.
That is crazy.
We should see if he can come on
absolutely
Christmas.
You let me know.
That would be
he
awesome.
would love
We'll have him on.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, he
sure.
also does the haunted thing at Stormont Valley Event Center.
Okay.
That haunted thing. He also does that.
Wow.
So he's cool. He's a cool dude. He moved here from Topeka.
That would be a sweet
for this job.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys should definitely. I'll give you his number later.
Yeah.
What animals are all out during zoo lights? Because I know there's some.
It depends on the weather. Obviously, it can be really cold
during
zoo lights. But all the North American animals are always out because they're native to this climate.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the river otters, the mountain lion, the pronghorn antelope, the bear, it depends on the time. But sometimes the bear's out. But all the African and Asian animals, they're usually locked inside because it's cold.
Yeah.
So just kind of depends on the weather. But you know how sometimes we have those really nice days where it's like 65. And then all the animals will be out. So just depends on the weather. Yeah. So a lot of the animals are weather dependent. So
is the zoo open year round?
Yep. We're open every single day of the year except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. And you know those days where it's like -10? We're open and people still come.
Yeah.
I kid you guys not. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Not -10. We definitely come when it was very cold. Yeah. And it's awesome. Honestly, one of my favorite things about the zoo is it's not like an all-day commitment. It's just personally, just as a parent, agree. I love it, you know? And, you know, I'm sure if you live in Omaha or San Diego, it's like you take pride in your zoo. It's huge, you know, it takes all day. Yeah. But I like, we can pop in for an hour and we can kind of make most of the rounds, or 2 hours, you know, and get the round in with the kids. Yep. And then the membership makes it so much easier. You just pop in whenever.
Yeah, what's the membership? You mentioned that. What is that?
So you can be a Friends of the Zoo member, and basically that means you pay one lump price and you get in all year. For free. Okay. For free. Yeah. Obviously, you pay for it, but it's just a better deal. And
it's like Amazon Prime.
It is.
Like Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It's exactly like Prime.
It's Topeka Zoo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Love
it's Topeka Zoo Prime.
So
it's just really good. That's what I did when I moved down here. I was a member and just brought my kid here. Like it's just a good, safe place for your kids to run around.
Right.
Like I remember thinking like she can just go run around and get tired for nap.
Right.
You know, we're outside, we're in nature, we're off a screen, we're seeing animals, we're seeing people. It's just such a great place just to bring your family. That's what I love about the zoo. It's just, and I think a lot of people, you know, you mentioned the San Diegos and the Omahas and the Kansas Cities. Those are destination zoos. And
they're like you go on vacation
to go there. Yeah. And like Topeka, what I love about our zoo is we are a community zoo. You know, most of the people that come through our gate are from here. You know, like I know so many people that come through that gate. You know, they're like, "Good morning, Shanna." And I'm like, "Good morning, Bob," or whatever. So like we know our guests.
Yeah.
And it's such a unique experience than working at a big zoo.
Yeah.
So
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Take Topeka Zoo out of the equation.
Okay.
What are some of your favorite zoos in the United States?
Obviously, it's the Topeka Zoo.
But
aside from that one,
you told me I couldn't say that.
Right.
I think if you force me to say, I love Oklahoma City Zoo.
Yeah. Really?
Love it.
Wow.
What about it?
I know nothing about that zoo.
Oh, I love it. I think it's my favorite zoo.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, I love their exhibits are so well done. Mm-hmm. They're so wide open. We've done a lot of work with Oklahoma City Zoo. Like we've got a few of their animals and we've taken a few of ours to them. And so we've worked with them a lot. So I know their staff, and their staff is amazing, like deeply cares for their animals. Excellent training programs. So their big cat training programs are incredible. But it's just like their elephant habitat, like their elephant exhibit, it's incredible.
Wow.
So I love that zoo.
Wow.
So
we need some big Oklahoma oil barons.
Yes.
To like make some donations.
Can we find some of those?
Man, we need some of that oil money up in Kansas.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. I agree.
That would be awesome.
So that's a great zoo. I love that zoo. But,
wow.
I mean, it's hard for you to find a zoo that I don't like.
Right.
I love zoos.
Right. Except for Tiger King.
Except for that zoo. That's not a zoo. That's ridiculous. I don't even know what to call that.
Is there like a list of animals that you're like, we don't have these, but at some point this would be the next one we want to try to get?
I mean, we are talking about our next big exhibit expansion that we're doing. And so we haven't like done, you're like, tell us. So we haven't, we're allowed to talk about it, but we haven't done a big like media rollout quite yet.
Sure.
It was actually on the news a couple weeks ago that we got a pretty substantial gift from a local donor here.
Wow.
So our next big exhibit, it's going to be called My World. And it's basically going to be geared towards children like ages 7 to 9. So around that age. And basically we're going to be teaching them like, this is your world that you live in and you need to help save it. Right.
Cool.
So like, we're going to have a big, new updated farmyard. So we're going to have,
nice.
my farm, basically like, where does your food come from? Why is Kansas so important? Like Kansas is a big producer of food. So we're going to talk about that, we're going to have goats and llamas and all those funny animals that kids love.
Right.
And then we're going to talk about my water. My water is going to have water animals. So penguins. So penguins are coming. Penguins? I'm saying we're getting penguins.
That was my next question. Is how long until we get penguins?
Yeah, penguins are slated to come.
Penguins are on the way.
They're on the way. Yeah.
And so my kid is about to go into the 7 to 9 range.
See,
come on.
Perfect.
Let's go.
It's perfect. So I mean so that'll be my water. With penguins, we're also going to have a brand new river otter exhibit.
Man.
I'm going to go back to that one question you asked me about the worst parts about the zoo. Our river otter exhibit.
Okay.
Our river otter exhibit is too small. It needs to be updated. And we recognize that. And that's going to be with the My Water next to the penguins.
That's so cool.
And then there's going to be My Air, which will be birds, right? And will also be like primates, like smaller primates, like lemurs is what we're thinking about doing. So this is going to be a huge exhibit. It's going to be, the old giraffe yard, right? When you walk in. So it's going to start there and it's going to go smack dab through the whole center of the zoo.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be incredible, huge undertaking. So it's probably
going to be like a mix of in and outside.
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor.
Yep. So it'll be about 5 year total to build all this stuff. So it's the biggest thing we've ever stuck our teeth into. It's going to be huge, a huge project. So that's coming.
Wow.
So it's going to be really unique. Most zoos are very, what we call zoogeographical. So that means you've got Africa, you've got Asia, you've got North America. Yeah. Well, when My World, we're basically going to blow that to smithereens because we're going to have animals that don't live next to each other in the world. So we're going to have like otters and penguins. Obviously they don't interact.
Yeah.
Then, the lemurs and the birds and stuff like that. We're going to have just really random stuff together and just kind of talk about how, even though there's otters here in Kansas, you also need to be aware of your water for penguins, kind of like tying in that conservation message for kids, kind of making it close to home, but also far away.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That makes me think, just what you said, the major strength of the Topeka Zoo is it's a community. It's local.
Yep.
It's like planted here. And that's what that seems like. That's kind of even draw that even more.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, look around where you are.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
Well, I mean, how many people are like, you hear, oh yeah, elephants, like 96 African elephants are killed a day in Africa. But like, we're here in Topeka, Kansas, and it's like, oh, that sucks. But what am I gonna do?
For you guys,
like, I know it sucks to be you,
right.
It's like, what do we do over here? So it's kind of like tying in that message, like, hey, whenever you do stuff to save black-footed ferrets, that there's a trickle-down effect that could help African elephants. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So it's a really cool conservation message, but at the same time, very interactive, new, different animals we're bringing in. So it's gonna be cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. I'm super pumped about that.
It's cool. So hopefully we'll be unveiling that to the public this year, 2024.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
Yeah.
We just reached out to some friends of ours who have kids.
Okay.
My kids are also in this as well.
Awesome.
But they submitted just a handful of questions.
Okay.
To you, kids love animals.
Oh,
kids love the zoo.
Yeah.
And so these kids are asking just whatever question they're curious about to someone who works at the zoo.
Okay.
So they may not have anything to do with what you do on a daily basis, but they're just like, I want to know this. Okay. So
I love it.
We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
The gorillas smash and be so strong.
Why do gorillas smash and be so strong?
Okay. Why do gorillas smash and be so strong?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I love that he recognized the strength of a gorilla.
Yes.
So gorillas obviously are huge. They're the biggest primate in the world. And they are very dominant. The silverback, everybody knows about silverbacks. And they show their dominance with their force, with brute force. But what I love about gorillas though, is that they do live in a family group called a troop. And there is a male silverback that obviously his job is to kick anybody's butt that messes with that troop.
Right.
So I love the aggression of a gorilla because he doesn't use it with his family. He uses it with people that attack his family.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like masculinity that is so important.
Right.
And it's in the animal kingdom and it's fascinating.
Wow.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, male gorillas will kind of discipline the little ones in their troop. But if you ever watch a video with a silverback interacting with the babies of the troop, it's amazing. It's adorable.
Man.
So it's kind of like they are big and strong and they can be scary, but they use that in a positive way to protect their family.
Wow.
So,
Good answer.
thank
Come
you.
on, that's awesome.
I love gorillas.
Are silverbacks the biggest gorilla?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Let's keep going. I think this is their brother.
Why do monkeys swing on vines? Why do red-tailed hawks go so fast? And why do kangaroos jump?
Okay.
I love his like emotions.
Yeah.
He's like, why do hawks fly so fast?
Right.
Monkeys swing.
What was the first
So
one? Was it?
animated. That was the monkey, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the
And
monkey,
then the hawk.
Yep.
then the kangaroo.
Kangaroo, yeah. Okay, so why do monkeys swing? So most monkeys live in trees. Some don't. Some live mostly on the ground. So monkeys that live in trees are called arboreal. There's your word of the day. That means they live in
Really?
trees.
Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
arboreal. And so they swing through the trees for a variety of reasons. To get away from predators, to look for fruit. Sometimes they do like breeding dances, in the trees to attract a lady.
Yeah.
So lots of reasons they swing in trees. But
That's awesome.
Mostly because they're monkeys.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then rail-tail hawk. I love that he specified what kind of hawk.
Right. Yeah.
That is specifically the red-tailed hawk.
I don't want to know what the other hawks.
No.
Just this
Other
one.
hawks don't matter, but the red-tailed hawk. That's what. So rail-tailed hawks are natives to Topeka. So
Let's go.
I'm sure
Really?
they are. They're all over. So most of the hawks that you see around here are red-tailed hawks. I'm sure somebody told him that at some point in his life,
Right.
which is really cool. That's a red-tailed hawk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they fly really fast. I wouldn't want to. I don't know how fast. Don't ask me.
Right.
I mean, I would guess probably like 50 miles per hour.
When they are like
When
diving.
they're swooping. Yeah. And I mean, they're very important to the environment. They hunt rodents, they eat mice and eat rats. So they're super important to the environment. So they fly fast to catch rodents.
Wow.
There's my answer, little dude.
There you go. And then why do kangaroos jump?
Why do kangaroos jump? This is when you cue in the video of those two male kangaroos fighting. And they use their legs to keep
and they
each
like
other.
lean on their tail, right?
Yes, they lean on and they use their legs to. So, I mean, they have very powerful legs for those reasons to fight other male kangaroos. Yeah. I mean, kangaroos can actually be pretty aggressive.
Do they actually like hop? Like, can they jump really high?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Have you seen the size of their thighs?
Yeah.
Like they're jacked.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So,
they
yeah.
don't skip leg day.
No, they
skip
don't.
leg day.
They do not skip.
Every day is leg day in a kangaroo.
Yeah. All right. Next brother. I think he also has 3 rapid fire.
Why do falcons fly so fast? Why do Tasmanian devils chew on bones? And why do cheetahs run fast?
I missed the second one.
So we talked about the bird already, the hawk already. So I'll skip that. The Tasmanian devil. Why does he chew bones? That's
that
what
what
I
he said?
heard.
Falcons fly so fast. Why do Tasmanian devils chew on bones? And why do
chew
on bones.
Yep. And why do cheetahs run so fast?
Yeah. So I have to be honest, I don't know much about Tasmanian devil. I'm pretty sure they're native to New Zealand. Does that sound right? I think so.
Your
I
guess
think
is
you're
as
right.
good as mine.
I was like, I think that's
Your
right.
guess is way better than mine, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's say that now. Look it up real quick, Gabe. We're Tasmanian. Can you verify me live right now?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're New Zealand. But yeah, they're known for just being very hyperactive, very aggressive, just like the Tasmanian devil cartoon.
Right, yeah.
But they're carnivores. They're fully carnivores. They're basically like the Wolverines of New Zealand. I'm pretty sure. Is that right?
Yes, so they're native to Tasmania, which is in Australia.
Okay, well, close.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
that's pretty
Checks
close.
out, yeah.
Island over there is close.
There we go.
And then cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal in the world. Fun fact about cheetah: most cats have retractable claws, so they can put their claws out whenever they want and bring them back in. Cheetahs do not. Cheetahs are always out. That's why they're so fast. They basically have permanent track cleats on.
Oh, so they're grabbing the ground.
They're grabbing the ground.
Wow,
and
that's
also,
crazy.
they can't pull their claws back in and put them back out like lions or tigers can.
Right.
They also cannot sustain those speeds for very long. So they can run upwards of about 65 to 70 miles per hour, but they can't sustain that for very long. Now, a pronghorn antelope that we do actually have at the Topeka Zoo, it's native to North America, they can actually run almost as fast as a cheetah, but can run longer than a cheetah can.
Wow.
So technically, pronghorn antelope are faster.
So there's like a 30-second window where the cheetah could catch him.
And then after
but
that,
then he's out of
they're
gas.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So I always like to say that about our pronghorn, because a lot of people see our antelope at the zoo and are like, oh, they're just stupid deer.
Right.
They're so boring. And I'm like, actually, these guys
are cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They're so fast. So yeah, there's your cheetah fun fact.
That's awesome.
The best is whenever you're talking to a whole group of kids and they're like, how do they make babies? That happened to me.
You
want
to explain that for us?
Oh my word!
You were just helping with that earlier.
Oh my gosh! Right, but like in a G way. I'm like, you need to go ask your parents.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
They meet and they fall in love and they get married.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Yeah. Exactly.
Kids.
It's basically the Lion King.
Yeah.
There's a waterfall.
Yes.
And
Whole
Elton
big
John
thing.
starts singing in the background.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Right. Yeah. All right.
What's your favorite animal?
What's your favorite animal?
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
I
don't know. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. My favorite animal, I think if I had, I think that's the hardest question ever. But I think if I had to answer, I'd probably say killer whale. They're so cool.
Wow.
Oh my word.
What about them?
I mean, they live in family groups. They hunt in packs, and like they communicate with each other to take down their prey, which is just they
as a team
make a plan.
Wow.
And then they go out and they execute this plan. They communicate with one another. And I don't know if you've seen that video of that. There's a seal on a floating ice, like an iceberg. And they work together to swim really fast at the seal to tip that ice to get that seal to fall off. Like, I mean, that is so smart.
Wow.
Like the level of intelligence to figure that out.
Yeah.
So they're just super smart. They're really good with their young. Like they have a matriarch society, so that they have a dominant female, but then the males stay with them. And so it's just, they have just and they're just like the wolves of the sea. You know, they're in charge of the whole ocean.
So there's a reason they're called killer whales. It's well earned.
It's well earned.
Wow.
It is well earned. They're
That's
cool.
amazing.
So yeah, they're probably my favorite animals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite animal?
Oh, you guys are not going to like this answer. Giraffe.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
So beautiful.
Close your ears, kids.
I know. I'm so sorry, you guys. Like, they're so beautiful and majestic.
Right.
But, like, they're not smart.
I mean, it makes sense. Their heads are, like, this big, you know?
Exactly. Like, I have to be fair to them.
Their heart can't pump the blood all the way up to their brain.
So hard on their heart.
Yeah.
I mean, they're prey animals. So prey animals are naturally going to be a lot more skittish.
Right.
So they're super skittish. You know, we, in our old, where the giraffes used to be, you know, we have a new giraffe exhibit now.
Yeah.
But in the old barn, we painted this big graphic of a giraffe so we could show people how tall they are, right? And it was all black. It was just black. It was a black painting of a giraffe. The giraffes would not come back into the barn for like a week and a half. Because they came walking in and they saw that giraffe and they're like, heck no, that thing's gonna kill me. And they went back out. So they did not come inside for like a week and a half.
Wow.
And it was like the most frustrating. Like they're out there in the rain.
Right.
And
they all freeze to death because they won't go inside.
Because they won't come inside. So it takes a very, very special kind of person to take care of a giraffe. And that person is not me. Like, I do not have the patience for giraffes.
That's funny.
But they're beautiful. I love them. Don't get me wrong, but they're just not very smart.
I'm pretty sure the parent completely, interprets this one for us.
Right. We got an interpreter here.
Yeah.
Hey, Jaden, do you have any questions about zoo animals?
And that's it. But
so that sounds like the language on that movie Signs with Mel Gibson.
Right.
Remember
right.
that?
Oh yeah, the animals, or the aliens.
The aliens would make that sound.
But he asked where the hippo sleeps.
Oh, that's a really good question. So hippos are absolutely fascinating animals because they're land animals that live in the water, but they're not water animals. So, and where do they sleep? So that's a really good question. So hippos can hold their breath for anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. So not super long. So they actually do need to sleep closer to the surface. Otherwise they just have like 5-minute naps. So they do sleep on land typically.
Okay.
They can rest in the water, but they can't sleep. So because they'll die.
Right.
And my most favorite fun fact about a hippo is that they actually can't swim. They walk. So like if you drop a hippo in the ocean, like in a big, deep ocean, they'll die.
Wow.
Because they can't actually swim. So if you ever see videos of them swimming, it's in shallow water because they walk off the bottom and they push up.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating?
That's crazy.
I know.
Now, you didn't mention them in one of the dangerous animal category.
I did not. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Are they not considered
I've heard
dangerous?
they're dangerous.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
No, they're extremely dangerous. I mean, hippos kill more people than any other animal in Africa. So in the wild, they're the number one killer in Africa. Well, I guess unless you count mosquitoes.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Hippos
that's
number
boring.
We don't count
Hippos
mosquitoes.
aren't giving people diseases.
They don't give them malaria.
Yeah.
So yeah, hippos can be very aggressive. The thing that I mentioned about our security system at the zoo is that with a hippo, if you could just walk in with them.
Okay.
There's no like caging that separate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the lip of the pool. So like, why would you do a double lock system when you could just
get out
walk
of the
in?
area?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why that's not on the list.
Gotcha.
But absolutely, we do not go in with a hippo. We do not go. There's always a barrier in between us when we work with him. So
does anyone ever go in there? Like,
no, we move. We call him in. He's like, it's like your dog's at home. Like we literally are like Tank, and he comes inside. We lock him in his indoor area, and we clean his pool. His name is Tank. His zoo name is Vision. You know, we had a bank that named him when he was born.
Sure, yeah.
But we had already started calling him Tank. So
yeah.
He's Tank/Vision.
Yeah. It's his X-Men name, Tank Vision.
Exactly. Tank Vision.
Yeah.
I've heard they're pretty fast too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They can run like 35 miles per hour. They're wicked fast.
Yeah.
What?
Very fast. And male hippos can be very aggressive.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you got some video homework to look at.
I know. We need to be
a
showing
hippo
all
running
these,
is terrifying. Like they're like tanks.
Wow. They look like they'd be super awkward.
They just
on
look
land.
like baked potatoes.
Yeah,
That's the zoo.
exactly.
Like that's what our hippo looks like. It's a big baked potato.
Exactly. All right. I believe 2 more.
Okay.
This one might take a second.
Can you say, my name's Graham? How about, do you hippos eat?
Gases.
No. Say, what do hippos eat?
Eat mommy.
No. Say, what
What?
do hippos eat?
That hippo eat.
Oh my goodness, it's so cute. What do hippo eat? So hippos are technically herbivores, but just within the last 10 years, they've decided to reclassify them as omnivores because they've actually been documented eating their other family members that have passed away.
Hey.
After they die, or they kill them?
After they die. Yeah.
Oh, dang. So
Yeah,
kind of a
they
vulture,
I think I needed to
little
know that,
scavenger.
actually.
Sorry about
Right,
that. Do you have lunch? No. So they're technically omnivores now.
Wow.
So which is it. But the majority of their diet is grasses and stuff like that.
So kind of like
mostly
pigs, like
herbivores.
they'll eat anything, maybe.
I mean, yeah, but they prefer grasses and
I've
stuff.
seen a hippo eat a pumpkin.
Oh yeah,
on TikTok.
he
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
he loves pumpkin. He loves watermelon.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Yeah.
Wow.
In one big bite. Smash.
It's amazing. All right, last one.
Okay.
Hi, my name
Wait.
is Anderson.
Wait, start over. Wait, hey. Shh.
Hello, my name is Emerson. I want to know what elephants do with their trunks.
What elephants do with their trunks? That's a great question. Okay, so elephants' trunks is basically like a nose. It's a long nose. That's what it is. So they can breathe out of it. A lot of people think they can drink out of it. They can't.
They would drown.
They would drown. Yeah, it's a nose. And then they just keep it in there and they drown. So they can suck up water, but then they put the water in their mouth. So it's like a straw. It's like a nose straw.
So it doesn't go all the way up like to here.
No.
It just goes into the straw.
Yeah.
And then
Gotcha.
And then they squirt it into their mouth.
Because if it went past this, it would be like lungs.
They would aspirate. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, they die.
Yeah.
So, and then I should know this, but I'm blanking right now. I think they have something like 20,000 muscles in the trunk.
Okay, I've heard.
Like
something
it's
like that.
I think I want to say 20,000, 40,000. It's some big number. I don't
insane
remember.
amount,
An
yeah.
insane amount of muscles. Like the amount of muscles that they have in that trunk is incredible. And they are so, the fine motor skills of that trunk is incredible. So like they can pick up a dime off the floor.
Wow.
Really?
Like that. Yes.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
That's
so
I can barely do that with my fingers.
I mean, seriously, they just pick up whatever they want off that ground, and it's something tiny. It is so cool.
Wow.
But they use it as a weapon. You know, it's definitely a weapon that they use to hit, lions or anything that's threatening their family. Straw. They use it to knock down trees and get leaves and branches down.
Wow.
So it's a very important part of their anatomy, and it is so cool.
Yeah,
The elephant trunk is so cool.
So I looked at how many muscles they have. They have 40,000.
40,000.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, 40,000. I know, it's incredible in one appendage.
Yeah, it's crazy. My 5-year-old was asking, what's the strongest animal on the earth? And so we were Googling it, and I'm sure there's a lot of different ways to measure.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be hard to measure.
But by one measurement, people were saying the African bull elephant, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of that, because of the trunk and how much they weigh.
Oh yeah. I mean, they could weigh up to about like 15,000 pounds.
It's crazy.
Like they're huge.
Right.
Like so big. And I mean, at their shoulder is like 12 feet.
And that would make sense why they're the most dangerous to zookeepers, and that they're not even
just accidentally crush you.
Just
not even
hitting you with
aggression.
their trunk.
Yeah.
Right. You're out.
Yeah, because I would have naturally gone, just assumption I would have gone on like gorilla. But they're like, no, they're like 17 times heavier.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. And gorillas gorillas are huge, don't get me wrong. But they have like little teeny tiny legs.
They're like the opposite of a T-Rex.
I mean, seriously, they have big old arms with tiny legs. Like if you look at their body proportion aside, their legs are so funny.
That
like,
is
so
funny.
if you're ever intimidated by a gorilla, just remember what their legs look like.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it. You have ridiculous legs.
Yeah. Unlike the kangaroo, the gorilla skips leg
Yes,
day. Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, they did skip leg day.
Yeah.
So
Well, Shannon, thank you so much.
Yeah. Here, appreciate it.
Do you feel like, is there anything that you were hoping we would ask you about that we didn't ask you about?
No. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Shanna, thank you so much for being
Thanks
on.
for
This
joining
was such a joy.
Thank you guys. No, I'll talk about animals anytime, any day, all day, every day.
Yeah. What for people maybe who haven't been to the zoo in a while?
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe give a shout out?
Yeah. So you can come see us at the zoo. We're open every single day of the year, except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It's actually really affordable. We're one of the cheapest zoos in the country. And we're also on social media. Maybe if you can't get out of your house, we do, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X. And you can see us. I love our TikTok. I'm actually in charge of our TikTok page.
Okay.
So I post lots of really funny videos. I have a lot of fun with that. It's kind of goofy. But yeah, so it's just a great place to be, be outside, get off a screen.
Right.
Come learn about animals.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. Sweet.